guys, so today I'm going to be doing a first impressions video on the first cushion foundation that has kind of like reached the drugstore. This is the L'Oreal Nude Magique Cushion Dewy Glow Foundation. I love L'Oreal foundations. They're like my top foundation people in the drugstore. I like all of their foundations that they do, so I've kind of got high hopes for this. I'm not normally like a dewy girl. I love my highlighter and stuff like that, but I normally wear more of a matte base, so this should be quite interesting. I do have dewier foundations though that I do really like. It's just on an everyday basis I normally go towards more of a matte finish. The cushion foundations kind of started in kind of like the Korean kind of makeup beauty market, and now they've come over to the UK and kind of like more westernised markets. I know Lancome released a cushion foundation, but this is like the first one at the drugstore. The packaging is really pretty. I will do a close up so you can see. The front's really pretty. It's this really nice purpley colour. I like the thing on the front. It's cute. Open it up and you've got a mirror inside and a little sponge like this. I am going to attempt to apply the foundation with this to start with, and then if I don't like it then I'm going to use the sponge. And then you lift it, that bit up, the bit where the sponge is, and then you've got the foundation, and it says remove this seal before use, close tightly after use. So you pull it off like this and then you put it back on, which isn't the most convenient thing in the entire world, but it's fine. So this is what it looks like. It does look really weird. It's just like a sponge with foundation on it. I'm not entirely sure how long this would last because obviously it is literally just a sponge with foundation on it. I'm really intrigued to try it. I got mine in the colour 01. It doesn't actually say anywhere where the colour is, but there was a little sticker that said 01. It's because the reason why I got this shade is they literally had like 4 shades to choose from in the Manchester Superdrug. Like, that is a big store. Like, I don't really understand why there wasn't that many shades. And it was only 4, and the second shade up didn't have any tester or didn't have any of the actual compacts there in that shade. So I had to go with this one. I don't know if it's going to be too light, but we'll give it a go. So I'm not going to apply any primer because then we can see the actual wear of the foundation. I'm going to use this little sponge, so I'm just going to kind of like dip it in. This is so strange. It feels so weird. Okay, this is weird. Okay, this sponge isn't giving me much coverage, to say the least. But it's not the worst thing in the world. If you were like out and about and you needed and you had this in your bag, you needed to apply foundation, this isn't the worst thing. It's going on nicely though. You can literally not even see it on my skin. What the hell? That looks like skin. That is literally, looks exactly like skin. That is amazing. It's got quite a light coverage. I do feel though, with the texture, I do feel like it's buildable. It won't be buildable to full coverage. But that's what concealer's for. You can use concealer to build it up. I'm actually not hating this little sponge thing. So just put it on this cheek and kind of like on my chin and stuff. I'm just going to try and build it up slightly and see if it will build up. It's not really building up that much. Just try on my chin where there's a red bit. It is slightly, but it's not building up that much. It is more of a light to medium coverage. I'm going to get a brush and see how it works with a brush, because this is kind of convenient for on the go, or if, you know, it's better than I expected it to be to apply the foundation, but it's not something necessarily I would apply with every single day, and also it's a bit yucky. So I don't know how well a brush is going to work because it is like a weird texture. I'm going to use the Sephora Mineral Powder 45 brush. Just kind of dab it in. Oh my god, this is so weird because it's so wet. So far I am really liking this, especially for summer. Like, I just think for summer I think it'd be so good, because you literally can't even see it on your skin and it looks so much like skin. So I've done a first layer of the foundation, but it does not look like perfect at all. Like, it looks perfect as in the foundation's gone on perfectly, but what I mean is that like it hasn't covered everything I would want it to cover necessarily. So I'm going to try and just go back in with this, especially on my cheeks, and just kind of see if it will kind of cover up any more. Try and do a second layer, and if it won't, then I'll obviously just go in with the concealer. It doesn't bother me that much, but I am really impressed with this so far. It's just so weird, like, I don't know, that you're pressing your foundation brush into a sponge. Right, verdict is you cannot build this up. Building it up makes it look a bit funny. It doesn't want to go on top of each other. Probably because it is quite wet. That is probably my reasoning for it. But so far, so good. It is very natural for me. It's not something I would necessarily wear on an everyday basis. But as I said, in the summer, it's something I would definitely reach for. Also something where I'm not doing as much in the day if I don't want my makeup to necessarily look flawless, like I don't mind a couple of imperfections shining through, then it's great. The one thing for me is the lasting power of a foundation. I will not wear a foundation if it lasts 2 hours on me, because I don't see the point. I literally want a foundation to last quite a considerable amount of time. So that will be my kind of like massive testing thing for this, as to whether it lasts the day. It is a dewy looking foundation as well. There is definitely a dew to my skin, but it's not too much. You know, some of them that just basically look like an oil slick. This does not look like that. I do have kind of like combination skin, more on the side of oily, and so we will see how this lasts kind of with oil in the day. I will do a close up now to show you how my foundation looks, and so you can see how much it's covered and bits like that. But I am really impressed with it. I do think it's nice. As I say, the coverage could be a little bit more for me, but obviously coverage of foundations, that's just how it is. Like, some people might love a light to medium coverage foundation, whereas for me, I do more reach for like medium to full. The one thing I will say is putting this little plastic thing back on every single time isn't particularly the most convenient thing. Like, I just closed this compact, I completely forgot to put the plastic thing on, and I was like, oh god, gotta put it on. That is slightly annoying. So just gone away and done my makeup, and as I was doing my makeup, I was watching Emily Noel's video, and I was just watching one of my random videos, just a favourite, and before that, the advert for this foundation came on, and on the advert it says tap a little for, oh god, my hair's getting caught on my nails. It was like tap a little for a little bit of coverage, tap a lot for a medium coverage. So I was like, right, let's give this another go. Let's try and put a little bit more on. And it did build, but once it had set, I'm talking 5 minutes afterwards. It's not necessarily a quick process to get to the medium coverage. So I did put a little bit more on, and it did set. And it went on nicely on top of each other. However, now as I'm looking at my makeup, it is slightly cakey. Really slightly. I don't know if it's just because I've just applied my makeup. I get this quite a lot. You know, after a couple of hours, my makeup looks a lot better than it does when I just first apply it. So I don't know if it's that, but I do like it, and especially from afar, it looks really pretty. I like the dewiness of it. I have set it with powder when I did my foundation, but I haven't set it with powder after I did my entire makeup, if that makes sense. I normally set it twice with powder, like when I do my makeup, but I just thought that I wouldn't with this one. I do think it looks pretty, but just close up, it does look slightly cakey, very, very slightly. So what I'm trying to say is it did build up slightly, but it just took a while to set, and I think obviously if you're trying to be in a rush and you're trying to quickly do a foundation, it's not going to be able to go up to medium coverage very quickly. I also just remembered I didn't tell you how much it was. It's $9.99 at the moment, but it's only because it's on an introductory offer. And this is in Superdrug, and it will be $14.99. That is quite expensive for a drugstore foundation. Like, that is very expensive for a drugstore foundation. I think the Infallible matte one, which is the one that I like, my favourite foundation from L'Oreal, that one's £11 I think. So that is quite expensive, £15. So it's currently 10:14 in the morning, and I'm going to check back with you in a couple of hours to see how this foundation has worn. If it's on my vlog camera, I'm really sorry, because I don't know which situation I'm going to be in to show you the foundation, but I'm going to check back in a few hours, show you the wear of the foundation all throughout the day, and see how long this one lasts. So just thought I'd give you an update on the foundation. It is now 2:10. It's just after a few hours. I just thought I'd show you what it looks like. I am on my vlog camera because I can just get a little bit closer up with this, can kind of like maneuver it, and it's easier for me to do updates with. I hope that's okay for you guys. The foundation just doesn't look great on my skin. You can't see from the camera, but I will try and insert some kind of like close-up images here on the screen. But it just looks not great. Here, it's kind of come off around my face, and I haven't been doing anything where I've been leaning on my face or anything like that. It just doesn't look great. It looks very patchy. So can my forehead. It looks very oily, even though I have powdered, which not necessarily doesn't look like shiny, just oily, like, which is not a look that I like. I don't think it's great for my particular skin type. It has nothing to do with the coverage that it's given me. I actually don't mind the coverage in the slightest. It was a medium coverage, which I then put concealer on top of. That was fine for me. It's more how it looks. Like, it's gone really patchy around here. It's kind of like clung to lines around here. I don't even have any lines. I'm 20. It's clung to all the tiny little lines around here. Kind of come off around this area, around where my contour is here. I don't know, everything just doesn't look great at all. I wouldn't want to necessarily go out. So it's now 12 minutes past 8 to be exact, and I just wanted to do my last update on the foundation because I really want to take my makeup off and get into my pyjamas. So I just thought I'd show you. It's not as bad as I actually thought it would be. kind of at 1 o'clock, it really didn't look great, but I feel like it looks better now than it did at 1 o'clock. Like, does that even work? I have powdered with this powder though about an hour ago probably, and it looks a hell of a lot better since I've powdered and the powder has sunk into my skin. As I say, around here, my blusher and my contour and stuff hasn't stayed on very well at all. Like, this isn't a long-lasting foundation, but to be fair to it, it doesn't claim to be long-lasting. I look quite pale, as you can see on camera, because everything has going to come off my face, and literally there is no contour or blush going on here at all, or highlight or anything. Well, actually the highlight's still slightly there, you can see that. One thing I will say specifically about this foundation is on my forehead, normally every single foundation, barring the L'Oreal Infallible one, sorry I'm in my living room by the way, it's just the best lighting at this time of night, there's a bloody Christmas tree box in the back and a Hoover, but every other foundation except from this one goes really patchy on my forehead and just kind of clings to dry patches that I don't even have. My forehead isn't a dry patch on my face at all, especially at this time of the year. I don't get any dry patches at all. So every other foundation just clings to these invisible dry patches, whereas this one hasn't at all, and that is a real big thing for me because normally they all stick to it. This isn't my favourite foundation in the entire world, but it's warmed on me since the update that I did before. Like, I just much prefer it now. Although it doesn't look perfect, it still kind of looks a little bit like skin. It does look slightly cakey, like very, very, very slightly. But as I put the powder on, it's definitely helped the situation. It is dewy, but it's nice and dewy. I don't think it necessarily looks too dewy. And this, to be honest, if I wear any of the foundation apart from my Estee Lauder wear or my L'Oreal Infallible one, is how it looks at this time of night anyway, when it's been on for that amount of time. So at the end of the day, I don't think the longevity is horrendous. One thing that I will say as well is this has not broken up on my skin at all. And normally other foundations or foundations that don't really claim to last a long time always break up on my face and go like patchy. This hasn't done that at all. It's just kind of worn off, but it's worn off nicely, and I really appreciate that. So my final verdict would be that this foundation, I think, would be better for people with drier skin types, because on me it is quite dewy. It's, you know, probably more dewy than I would like. I think it really would suit people with kind of dry skin types. I haven't got particularly oily skin, like it's not majorly oily, so if you do have really oily skin, I definitely would not recommend this for you. Also, if you do really like a full coverage foundation and you are really conscious of the fact that you don't want any blemishes to be seen, I would say again, this isn't for you. I think the concept is incredibly cool. I really like the fact it's like a little sponge. You can dab your makeup brush in it. I just really like that concept. I think it's just really appealing to me. I do think it is quite expensive for what it is though. £10 at the moment is okay, but £14.99 is very expensive for it. Overall, I'd probably give this like a 6.5 out of 10. It's not quite, you know, up there with a 7. It's not amazing, but I don't hate it. I would definitely wear this again, but not necessarily on days where I'm doing things, or if I'm kind of like, no, I'm having a long day or I'm doing something nice, and I wouldn't necessarily put this foundation on. But for the summer months, I think this would be absolutely perfect. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a good kind of concept on what you think this foundation would be for you. If you have tried this foundation, please let me know down below in the comments and let me know what you think of it. Please give this video a big thumbs up as well if you did enjoy it, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't before and you did enjoy this video. You can see all of my other videos. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will speak to you next time. Bye!